Hi, I'm Bailee from the Vegetarian Guide, and in this video we're going to talk about whether or not you should go vegetarian, all of the considerations that you need to think about, and whether or not this diet is for you. Let's get started. Okay, so obviously I'm the Vegetarian Guide, and my whole channel is about how to go vegetarian and make it easy and fun and help you stick with it long term. So you're probably expecting me to tell you that absolutely, of course, you should go vegetarian, right? And I would like to say that for the majority of people who want to go vegetarian, that is absolutely the case. I think that if you have a desire to go vegetarian, you have a good reason to do it, that you absolutely can and should do it. However, there are some other considerations that you need to look into when you're making this decision about whether this diet is right for you, and we're going to look into those in this video. There are some things that you need to take into consideration that actually have a big impact on whether or not you're going to be able to stick with this diet, and we're going to talk about those. We're also going to talk about some of the fears or worries you might have about going vegetarian that you don't really need to worry about so much. So that's what we're going to dive into in this video. I hope you'll stick around with me and we'll find out if a vegetarian diet is right for you. So let's start by looking at the things that are actually really important factors that you need to take into consideration if you're deciding whether you're going to go vegetarian or not. And one of the first ones that you need to think about is whether or not you actually are willing to go vegetarian. Because here's the thing. A lot of people think that eating vegetarian means that you're just going to stop eating meat and then you're a vegetarian. Newsflash, that's not quite how it works. It takes a lot of willpower. It takes a lot of motivation. It takes a lot of systems and strategies and accountability and getting over cravings. There's a whole lot more that goes into going vegetarian and making it a lifestyle than just not eating meat. You can have a great Pinterest board with lots of food. You can have cookbooks lining all of your kitchen counters. It's not enough. There's a whole bunch of other things that you need to have in order to go vegetarian, to make it stick. It's a commitment. It's a lifestyle change. You have to be willing to go through those hurdles, to overcome some of those obstacles, to make it stick. Before you panic about that, that's exactly why I'm here to help you with those things, to make them easy, to help you get over those hurdles, to make it stick and last for a lifetime. You can start, for example, by grabbing my free ebook, Secrets to Vegetarian Success. I will link that in the description below. However, if I'm saying all of this and you're already panicking that I absolutely am not willing to do this, I'm too busy right now, which is a whole other thing. You're not too busy. You can make it happen, I promise. But if you're already having red flags that you're not willing to put in that little bit of upfront commitment and effort to go vegetarian, then you might want to consider looking into a different diet. So the next questions that you're going to want to ask yourself are, why do you want to go vegetarian? And we need to look at those reasons and why you think that a vegetarian diet is best for you and determine if that really is the case. For example, if you want to go vegetarian because you want to help animals, you absolutely love animals, you don't want to eat them, you don't want to be involved in anything having to do with hurting of animals, fantastic. Vegetarianism is absolutely a great way to do that. However, a vegan diet might be more of what you're looking for, because a vegan diet or a vegan lifestyle is going to be a little bit more pro-animal. If you're eating a vegetarian diet, then you're still eating eggs, you're still eating dairy, and that means that there's still an impact on cows and chickens, for example, in the agricultural world. You're not completely eliminating your impact on animals suffering, unfortunately, when you're going to a vegetarian diet. You do a huge help, a great impact in that you're not killing animals directly. However, there still are some impacts that you're going to have on animals in the agricultural industry. Vegans who choose not to eat any animal products or consume any animal products, they are going to have the ultimate impact on animals. So that's something to consider. If your absolute reason for wanting to do this is solely for helping the animals, then a vegan diet might be more up your alley than a vegetarian diet is. Similarly, with environmental impact, that was the reason that I decided to go vegetarian 14 years ago, was because I wanted to help the environment as best I can. And eliminating meat from your diet eliminates about 50% of your environmental impact. That's huge. However, again, going vegan is going to actually eliminate your environmental impact even more. It's about 75% of your environmental footprint gets eliminated when you cut all animal products out of your diet. So again, something to consider. If environment is your absolute biggest reason for wanting to do this, then a vegan diet might almost be better for you than a vegetarian one. However, I'm throwing all of this stuff out there, and I want to tell you about why I choose vegetarianism, and that's because it's kind of the best of all of these worlds. I think that the vegetarian diet is not necessarily the healthiest, the most environmental, the most animal friendly, but it's got the best of all of these pieces lumped into a diet that fits my lifestyle. And that's an important piece that you need to consider in all of this, is the lifestyle aspect of it. So here, while I'm saying that, yes, you can help animals, you can help the environment more by going vegan, you also need to consider the lifestyle that comes with that. Are you willing to go that extreme? Are you willing to cut all animal products out of your diet? Having to read labels, having to have limited options at restaurants, all of those kind of things you need to take into consideration, because this is your lifestyle. It's not just about the fuel that you're putting into your body. It's about how you're living, how you're enjoying eating out with your friends, how you're associating with your family at traditional meals. All of those things are something that you need to consider. So let's talk about health a little bit, because I just said that I don't necessarily believe that a vegetarian diet is like the end-all be-all healthiest diet in the world. I don't think anyone has come out and said what the end-all be-all healthiest diet in the world is. If they had, then we would all be eating that way. However, it can be a super, super healthy diet for your heart. It eliminates some cancer risk. It eliminates some of your risk of diabetes, lowers your risk of obesity. There's a lot of wonderful health benefits of going vegetarian. Don't get me wrong. However, there are some health things that you kind of need to think about if a vegetarian diet is what you're considering. And one of those things, for example, is losing weight. And if your ultimate goal going into this is that you want to drop 10 pounds by the summer so you can fit into your bikini and look super sexy and everything, then a vegetarian diet might not necessarily be what you're looking for. Because when you're trying to lose weight, what you need is a lot of protein, few carbs, and a calorie deficit, which can be a little bit tricky to navigate on a vegetarian diet, because in order to get enough protein and everything, you probably are getting also a lot of carbs, and you need to be getting usually you need to be getting enough calories to get enough protein as well. So I'm not saying that it can't be done. It absolutely can be done, that you can lose weight on a vegetarian diet. It might just be at a slower pace. And weight maintenance is something else that you can be really great at. So if you're trying to maintain a steady weight and have a healthy weight, then a vegetarian diet is also great. However, if your goal is to lose weight fast, then a vegetarian diet might not be what you're looking for. On the other end of the spectrum, if you're trying to like bulk up, get big muscles, you want to look like the Hulk, and you're in the gym and you're bodybuilding and weightlifting and doing things all the time, then a vegetarian diet might also be a little bit tricky for you, because you're going to have to be getting a lot of protein to build up those muscles. We'll get into protein again in just a minute, but just if you're really concerned about your health and you're really going at doing intense workouts, you're really trying to bulk up, or you're doing a lot of just really intensive cycling or other sports that require a lot of physique and everything, a vegetarian diet might be a little bit tricky for you, because you're going to have to get a lot of protein, which, yeah, we'll talk about that again in a minute. Another big factor to consider is if you have other food allergies or intolerances. For example, if you're gluten intolerant, or if you have severe allergies to certain foods, you may need to consider if a vegetarian diet is right for you, because you're going to be very restricted in some of the foods that you can eat. Again, as a caveat to all of this, it can be done. You just have to be willing to put in that extra effort and be willing to get over some of those hurdles and find things that you really do like to eat that fit into a vegetarian diet, and also accommodate some of those allergens or intolerances that you have. If you go vegetarian, you should feel great. You should love your diet. It should make your body feel really good. And if you're not doing that properly with all of these other health issues that you might have going on, then it's just not really worth it. Now we've talked about that you have to kind of think about these reasons for why you're going vegetarian and see if they actually align with the vegetarian diet or if they align with other diets. The other thing I find sometimes is that people kind of go into this thinking, I'll try a vegetarian diet and see what happens. You will not be able to stick with it. If you are going to go into a vegetarian diet, you have to have legitimate reasons for doing this, and they have to be really, really good reasons, because that's what's going to motivate you to stick with it. So if right now you're watching this video and you're thinking, I might give vegetarian a try, that might work for me, I really challenge you to dial in and focus on why you think a vegetarian diet is good for you. Do a little research. Find out if this truly is the best diet for you, because if you want to stick with it, if you actually want to get the benefits and the impacts from it, then you have to have a good reason for going into it, or it's just not going to stick, and it's just going to be something that you tried that one time for a week that never worked. Okay, so now we've talked about some actual legitimate considerations that you need to take into account when you're deciding if you want to go vegetarian or not. Now we're going to shift a little bit to some of the fears or worries or concerns that you might have about going vegetarian that you probably don't need to worry about. These are the things that you can get over, that I can help you get over, that are going to make a vegetarian diet a good diet for you. So let's get into those. Number one is protein. We already touched on this a little bit. And Everyone, when you go vegetarian or hear about vegetarian, is that they don't get enough protein, they're all weak and scrawny, and it's really, really hard to get enough protein on a vegetarian diet. And I want to just let you know that that is not the case. As I said before, if your goal is to drop weight really fast, or your goal is to like really bulk up and do intensive sports and things like that, then yes, protein might be a little bit of an issue for you. However, if you are an average Joe, which I would say I am, if you're going for walks, if you like to run, if you're hitting the gym a couple times a week for a little bit, if you're just a regular person who's getting moderate exercise, getting enough protein is going to be super easy peasy. I promise. There's a learning curve a little bit with it. You're going to have to learn how to get plant-based protein in your diet. You're going to have to learn how to replace some of those proteins that you were getting from meat with other foods. But it's absolutely doable. I promise you're probably getting enough protein without even thinking about it. But when you're first getting started, it can be a great idea to track, to see how much you're getting, and to make some adjustments. I have a whole other video about how to get enough protein. I will link that above. And these are things that you can do to get protein easily in your vegetarian diet. I don't want that to be something that you don't start your diet for because you're worried about that. You can get enough protein, I promise, and I will teach you how to do it. Okay, and then another thing that I hear a lot is that I really want to go vegetarian. I love the idea of the benefits. I think it could be great, but I just love meat. I think this is kind of a funny thing, and because we've all said it, like literally every vegetarian who's ever gone vegetarian has probably said this before, I love meat. We have grown up eating meat our entire lives. It's all that we know up until the point where we decide to change. And of course you like it. It's a comfort food. It's familiar. You enjoy it. It's tasty. I mean, no one's denying that. It's something that we learn to live with. You have to weigh the benefits. Is eating meat, which tastes really good, but maybe that taste that you're eating only lasts for the 10 or 15 minutes that you're eating that meal, more important to you than all of the benefits about reducing your environmental impact, helping animals, making your body healthier? When you weigh all of those things, that's how you decide if a vegetarian diet is right for you, if you can get over that love of meat. I promise you, there are really, really delicious vegetarian foods that you will grow to like over time. Yes, you will miss meat in the start. I'm 14 years in and I still miss meat sometimes. When my family has pepperoni pizza, I'm sitting over here salivating because it smells so freaking good. However, I know that I have purpose with my diet. I know that I'm doing something great for my body, for the planet, for animals. All of those things are more important to me than giving in and eating that pepperoni pizza. You need to decide for yourself what's the most important thing for you if you can get over your love of meat. And again, it is something that you have to learn how to do in the beginning. You're going to have to learn how to get over those cravings and those temptations. Again, video, boop, boop. I will teach you how you can do that so it's not a struggle. But it is something you have to be willing to get over. The other example that I like to say is that I am an expat. I'm American, but I live in Denmark. That means I miss the crap out of my family. I do. I think about them every day. I miss them. I love them. However, I absolutely love living here in Denmark. And if you relate that back to the food, it's the same thing. I'm a vegetarian. Yes, I loved meat. I think it tastes really great. However, I really love being a vegetarian, and I love my lifestyle with that just as much. It doesn't take away. I can have both. I can miss meat and enjoy my vegetarian diet. And that's just something that you learn to live with over time. Another thing you might say to yourself is that I am a picky eater. There's no way I can find enough things on a vegetarian diet that I like. That might be stopping you from making the commitment to go vegetarian. And again, I want to assure you that you can enjoy a vegetarian diet, even if you're a picky eater. The first thing I want to say about being a picky eater is that part of that is just in your head. It's because you've grown up telling yourself that you're a picky eater. The more you keep saying it, the more your brain believes it. So it's something that you need to kind of get out of the habit of saying it. Tell yourself instead, there's some foods that I haven't liked the first time, but I'm willing to try again. The more you open yourself up to new experiences, new foods, new ways of cooking things, maybe you hate steamed broccoli, but you actually don't mind raw broccoli. Don't rule those things out because you've tried them one way, one time. Be open to trying a lot of new things. The other thing is that you can stick with familiar foods that you like mac and cheese or pizza, things that you know you like, and you can start adding new vegetables, new proteins, new things that you maybe haven't liked or tried so much before, and try them in a lot of different ways and add them in slowly to your diet. And you can make that work for you. There's going to be things that you like, I promise. It's not like you're just eating raw salads and foods that you hate every day and having to choke them down. Even if you're a picky eater, you will find things that you like to eat. And over time, you're going to open up your palate even more, and you're going to find more things that you do enjoy. So please don't panic about that. Even if you're a picky eater, first of all, stop telling yourself you're a picky eater and open yourself up to the possibility that there are new foods and things that you'll like, and you can enjoy a vegetarian diet. And lastly, if you're worried that you just won't be able to stick with it, if you've tried diets before and you failed, or even if you've gone vegetarian before and you ended up going back to eating meat, you might be panicking and thinking, why should I try this again? Why should I try a vegetarian diet when I couldn't make these other diets work for me before? I can never stick with anything. That's exactly why I'm here to help, is because if you truly think that a vegetarian diet is the right one for you, then I can make that happen for you. I have the tools, I have the resources, I can share the knowledge that I have to help you overcome those hurdles and to stick with it. Don't let that be a barrier that stops you from getting started. I know it sounds a little scary thinking that you're going to change your entire way of eating. You don't want to declare yourself a vegetarian only for a couple weeks later to have to tell your friends that you're eating meat again because it's embarrassing. I get that. There's all of these things that you have to think about and worry about when you're going vegetarian. But again, if you think it's the right diet for you, if you think that the benefits are there, if you think it's a lifestyle that you really are truly committed to, but you're not sure how to stick with it, how to make it last, I'm here to help you with that. I encourage you to please grab the vegetarian guide. I will link that in the description below. That is my quick mini course that has every single thing you need to know about how to go vegetarian and how to stick with it long term. I promise that will give you all of the resources and tools and tips that you need to stick with it. So don't let that be a factor that's keeping you from dedicating yourself to this diet. So there you have it. Now we've talked about a lot of these really important considerations that you need to make a decision about if you're thinking about going vegetarian, as well as some things that maybe aren't quite so worrisome once you really think about it. I hope that this has given you some insight that is helpful for you in making a decision. And if you have gone through this whole video and you've decided that yes, vegetarian is absolutely for me, then I encourage you to please watch some of my other videos about how to go vegetarian, how to overcome cravings and temptation, how to get enough protein. I'm here to help you with the vegetarian guide to make your diet something that is easy and enjoyable and fun and something that is rewarding for you for the rest of your life. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, cheers to your vegetarian adventure.